Alright, so I've been praying about this all day. I'm excited about this one. I'm going to teach you from a vet because it's laundry day. Alright, now, if you got a sink or you got a bathtub, then you have a washing machine. All you need is a dish soap or like a any type of shampoo or anything like that would do. Because what happens when you're homeless, and I'm going to teach you from a veteran's perspective, is a lot of homeless people, and I'm going to clarify some things right now because I have to. When I was homeless, except for San Diego, I found a way to look fresh. There's a way to do it because your self-esteem comes from the clothing and the way that you present yourself and your hygiene. A lot of people, their socks start smelling, their shoes start smelling because it's either rained, they've walked through this. A lot of things can happen and their self-esteem just drops like that. Because let's be real, what they're really wanting is the one. Either they think they lost the one or that the one is not in their life. But I've seen situations, and I hold marriage to this standard. I've seen situations where a wife is homeless with her husband, or a husband is homeless with their wife, and they share a common bond that's destroying them both. So you have to ask yourself, do you want a life? If the answer is yes, continue watching. If the answer is no, disregard. But then again, there's going to come a time when you want a life, so continue watching. So if you're a married couple out there, you need to check into a shelter. And each one's going to go into a men's shelter, one's going to go into a women's shelter, and you guys work together. And that common bond of bettering yourselves is going to happen. You can get clean clothes from shelters, clothing vouchers. If you're panhandling, you can make a little money, go to Walmart, it doesn't matter. Buy yourself fresh shoes, fresh socks, keep them that way. So to do that, you can hit bathrooms, use their soap dispensers, take off your clothes real quick, wash them. Make sure you're cycling it out so you have some clothes while those are drying. You have to sit down somewhere, watch them dry and all that. I get that. But this is helping you develop a routine and discipline to pull yourself out. If you're not, in all cases, if God is telling you to do something, do that instead. If not, here's the guidelines. Because if it's something you want to do, God probably won't need to show his face and get involved in it. If it's God telling you to do something, more than likely it's going to be something you don't want to do. Expect that. So checking into a shelter and all that is going to provide all kinds of services for you. I highly recommend that. I highly recommend the Salvation Army. You have to make a decision between what is causing you to be homeless and your life. That's just flat out. If you want what is causing you to be homeless, this is not going to be very easy for you. If you want a life, then once you start getting that life, you have to maintain that life. So all this is teaching you to develop the mentality that it takes to do that. And I'm making sure I'm getting these words right from the Spirit. So it's really a matter of your heart, as always. Life has rules. That's never going to change. So let me set this down. So like I said, if the shoes are $10, they're $17, doesn't matter. They just need to be clean. Socks need to be clean. Your clothes need to not smell. Now, if you're going through withdrawals and things like that, coffee is great for withdrawals. It's amazing, actually. You can go to any shelter, they have coffee. There's places all over the city, and since people are now coming out and setting up tables and donuts with coffee, you can, because I happen to know, being homeless, that homeless people are well taken care of. Well taken care of in this country. In other countries, there's not really homeless people because they take care of each other. But it's not every single country, but a majority of countries think that way. So that being said, I accomplished my mission for today. Here, I'll show you what happens when I roll. And the way I learned to roll is I had to have the spirit made it so I didn't really know how to roll until I would have tobacco or papers. And then I'd have to share with somebody in order to get it done. And they would have to roll for me. And I'd ask them, do you know how to roll? And I was ministering to them while this was happening. So they were getting a chance to help me, and I was getting a chance to help them, and that's really what life is about. See, it comes out like this, which is good airflow and everything like that. But the biggest thing I love about this is over time, it will stop really burning. So what you can do when you're out of tobacco is break up these, and then you have piles of tobacco, and then you can... So you have to look at it the same way when you're homeless. Food is easy to get. There's churches, all kinds of things. But do you want your life to go into this cycle of wake up, eat, do what you do, go to sleep, find a safe place, get your stuff stolen, all of that? So it's there are programs that will put you into work programs. You can go to day labor. You can do all kinds of things. But in order to get through the door and be taken seriously, you need to look presentable. And they have hygiene standards sometimes. So we have to start right there. And I'm with you on this because for a long time when I was homeless, helping people out, I lost track of everything and I just focused on people that were important to me, finding them, helping them, and being there right when they needed me so they couldn't say, hey, it's a coincidence. And that's one reason I've been so adamant about people coming out of the church, because if you have the perfect words at the perfect time, there's no more coincidence. And my prophets, I get that some need to encourage that flock. But some are built for this and they need to be out in the streets prophesying to people. And I've done it. My people have done it. Anybody I've discipled, we've done it. So that's kind of like a rites of passage thing. People need to know that Jesus loves them, knows where they're at, and wants to help them. For various reasons. So it's laundry day. It takes effort. You have to wash it. But it's the same thing as a washing machine. Except you don't have to pay for those prices for detergent. Or if you're going to laundry mats, what you can do is throw on some K-Love, do your laundry, have an amazing day, and then clean clothes afterwards without spending that money. Or the aggravation of going to laundromats and things like that, and then having to sit there and make sure your clothes don't get stolen. You're putting faith into something every day that you're not going to lose something. When you leave your house, you're doing the same thing. Well, someone's making sure that your stuff is protected. So it's not that you need to make more money, you need to stop spending more money. So you can spend money on important things. things that you can invest in, things that are going to come back to you. Spiritual things, heavenly things, those type of investments. I can make money come to you out of nowhere. And as always, if God tells you to do something, go with it. And that's really all there is to that. I mean, it's that simple. There's so much help for homeless people out there that it's amazing. Especially if you're a veteran. Veterans get treated like gold. There's so much out there for veterans. That's one of the reasons I have everything I have. Because I'm a veteran. And God used that. God was like, okay, you've been on this front of the battlefield. You've been on the front lines. Now, come in. Here's your headquarters. I was like, all right. So, you do everything in God's timing, it gets done for you. I want my people to know what it's like to be served. And then you realize, hey, somebody told that person to help me. See, it does this. This one's still going though. Yep, see? And one of the things that I teach my people is, you could tell people Jesus loves them all they want. But if you don't come to their level and meet their needs, they like cigarettes. They like all kinds of things. Then you can open the door for a genuine conversation. Because you're going to surprise the heck out of them. They're going to be like, and you're a Christian? Like, a real one. And they'll start telling you all the experiences they had and when they went into a church and how they didn't feel comfortable, or they'll come up with all kinds of things of why they don't go to church. They're like, yeah, I know I should go to church. I used to go to church. And you'll find out what really happened. And then I expect you to hold them accountable. Hold on. Did you go to church to find Jesus? Why did you go to church? I don't want you to offend them, but I want them to take an honest look at their life. You could play this video in shelters everywhere. I've been in so many shelters and I've seen pastors come in. I've seen the people there completely ignored by the staff. I've seen so much that I was just like, this isn't going to work. Like, I've judged everything. I really have, by seeing it with my own eyes and being a part of it and just kind of sitting quiet and observing. And then I go back and I start thinking and praying and getting revelation. I'm like, well, this. All I got to do is tweak this. And there's a lot that goes into running a shelter. I understand you have all kinds of different people that still come in with their mind altered and things like that. And there's a lot of things that can happen in a shelter. There's a lot of things that can happen in the streets. There's no COs. So it's a whole different ball game out there too. God protects you and has been protecting you. And all he wants is for you to have a good life. His name is Jesus Christ. Now you can apply that to your entire life. And have a life. And then from there, you have to learn to feed your spirit. That's why we have this. Watch out. So let's see. You talk to God basically. Lord, what do you want me to do today? Can you help me with this? And you open up and it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Now that is amazing news right there. Let me translate what that means. Basically, in order to stop war, you have to take the thirst of war out of people's mouths. They have to have so much war that they don't want it anymore. I feel like that's happened. Now, what's the war? Depends on what's the war with you. What are you fighting against? Well, obviously God, I know that. What war is causing you to think that, a nice way to put this, that war is possible with God? There's something else that is messing with your mind and telling you that you're actually happy. If you go from content to sad, content to sad, content to sad, content to sad, how do you know what happiness is? How do you know what joy is? Those things right there are evidence of God. The entire point of your existence is to enjoy your existence. God's already seen you enjoying your existence. Right now, you had some stumbling blocks. Everyone does. The fight, the war that is worth fighting, is the war against yourself. Because when you can beat yourself, nothing can beat you. Then you stand victorious. And you look back at everything you've been through, and you're still standing. I'm telling you, some exciting times are coming for you. I don't know, I just thought that was funny. All right, so I love you. I love you. I love you more than you know. Hope this helped. I'm going to go do my laundry now. And I love you.